I knew somebody who grew up thinking that she could never learn about the Lord unless it was through a pastor. She could never learn about God's Word unless it was through a teacher. You know, when I first met her, I sat down and I talked to her, and she was taught that by her parents, who were probably taught that by their parents, and it was this generational thing. And it's not true. It's not true. The Lord wants to teach you. He wants to be your teacher. He wants to be your preacher. He wants to be your friend. He wants to be your brother, your mother, your sister. He wants to be your everything. He doesn't want you to have to go through another person. He doesn't want to only be able to talk to you on Sunday or only be able to talk to you in that Bible class. He wants to dwell in you. He wants to abide in you. He wants to live in you. I think of a lot of us today are under the impression that we can't get to know God for ourselves. We can't get to know God intimately. We have to go through another source, another being, another person, another book, another project. We can't just sit down and say, "Hello, God. I love you, Lord. Tell me about you. Tell me who you are. Tell me what you're like. How can I get to know you for myself?" I think a lot of us are under that impression that we have to go through somebody. Now, does going to church help? Well, yes, if it's a spirit-filled, good church, absolutely it can help your relationship with the Lord. Does having a teacher help? Absolutely. As long as they know what they're talking about. I mean, but ultimately, Yeshua Jesus is our teacher. Ultimately, Yeshua Jesus is our preacher. Say you wanted to get to know this friend named John. And, you know, John seemed like a really cool guy. You know, he seemed special and real, and you really wanted to get to know him. But you were kind of shy and insecure about it, and you were worried about what he would think about you, and you just didn't want to go plunge into knocking on his door and saying, "Hey, my name's Allie," or "Hey, my name's Josh. Nice to meet you." So instead, you did the normal human thing. You try to get to know John in other ways. You try to read about him online. You try to see if he had any MySpace up. You know, you try to collect as much information as possible about John. You even went to his family. You asked them, "Hey, can you tell me about John? Can you tell me some characteristics that he has and some of his personality type? He seems like a really cool guy." You know, and then you went to his friends eventually, and you were like, "Hey, tell me about John. What's John like? He seems really nice." And then you continued on, and you went down the line, and you even went to his workplace, and you asked, "Hey, is John a good employee?" You know, and you went everywhere you could. You went and saw everyone you could see. You know, even to the point where you went to the library and you looked up books to see if anybody wrote about John, you know, because he was such an awesome, famous guy. You typed in his name in Google. You did every single thing you could do to meet John, because deep down in your heart, there was something inside of you that wanted to meet John, that wanted to know John, but you were too scared to actually go to John. And you did everything you could to get to know him, except to go to John, except to go knocking on his door and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about who you are. Reveal to me in your word who you are. Show me what you're like." I think a lot of us in today's society are under the impression and think for some reason that we can't go to John. We can't go to Yeshua Jesus We have to go through another mediator. We have to go through another source. We have to go through another book, another teacher, another preacher. We have to go through anybody or anything other than John himself, other than Yeshua, Jesus himself. We do not need any man to teach us about the creator of our world. We do not need any man to teach us about the one who handcrafted us in our mother's womb. We do not need any man to teach us except for John, except for Yeshua. We do not need any person to tell us about John. The only thing we need, the only one we need is John. So please do not let the doctrine of this world make you think that you need somebody else other than Yeshua Jesus to tell you about Yeshua Jesus. Think of how much time that person wasted going to friends and family and workplaces and libraries trying to get to know John, when John was sitting right there with them in that very room. Think of how much time was wasted when they could have just looked up to the heavens and said, John, Yeshua Jesus, please reveal yourself to me. Please teach me about you. Tell me about you. Think of how much time they could have saved if they just would have went directly to the source. You do not need any man to teach you. You do not need any preacher to preach to you. The only one that you need is Yeshua Jesus. The only being you need is Yeshua Jesus. For he is the way, the truth, and the light, and nobody comes to the Father except through him.